So first thing you want to do is you want to start with the motherboard where everything goes into.
Yeah, you're going to want to admire it thoroughly in relation to how much you paid for it.
Especially considering this is as new and shiny as it's ever going to be. And also as relevant as it's ever going to be, because nothing ages faster than technology. So next you want to take your CPU.
Look at it, make sure it is indeed a CPU.
That looks like a CPU if I've ever seen one. And next you want to open up the socket and remove the plastic protective lid. You can do this one of two ways. First is like this. And the second is by closing the socket and letting it pop off.
Next, you're going to want to take your Intel chip, and on an Intel chip, you'll find two semicircles on the chip itself, and two semicircles in the socket. And you're just going to line those up and drop the chip in, nice and straight.
Give it a nice little wiggle to make sure it's nice and snug in there. Close it, and apply pressure to the latch. If you're not being stupid about it, you shouldn't break it. Next, we're going to install the Intel stock cooler.
Alright, so the first step is to locate the 4 holes around the CPU socket meant for a cooler.
Then you want to line the pins up and push them until you hear a nice satisfying click.
If you don't know which holes to use, just look at your motherboard manual.
It's not hard to do. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to flip over the motherboard and make sure that the pins indeed did go through.
The Intel stock cooler comes with thermal paste pre-applied, but if you're using an aftermarket cooler, you'll need your own paste.
Next, you're going to want to take that sexy ass RAM.
You're going to check your motherboard manual to see which DIMM slots you need to use for 2 sticks of RAM.
Clip the appropriate
Look at that sticker.
stickers. Do make your computer go way faster. The appropriate DIMM slots. And to make sure that you're putting it in the right way, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is look for the break in the pins.
There it is.
Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to line it up and push it in. And now, the clips should close on their own. If you have to close them, you're downloading RAM wrong, stupid.
If you're installing an aftermarket cooler, you should install the RAM first, seeing as some aftermarket coolers hang over the RAM slots, making them impossible to install afterwards.
Alright, looks like our RAM is nice and installed. Things are looking pretty good. Looks like it's about time to move it on over into the case.
At this point, you're going to check your case manual to see which holes you'll use for your motherboard standoffs.
You're going to want to take the spaghetti and you're going to want to just sort of move it to the side.
Also, you're going to get rid of all those twist ties that you can find, as they contain metal and can short the motherboard.
Next comes installing the motherboard. Make sure you line it up nice with the motherboard standoffs.
At this point, you should have the I/O shield installed in the right orientation, and the motherboard should slide right in.
It should be nice and snug to make sure it protects you from damage and dust. Make sure when you screw in the motherboard at first that you screw it in nice and gently, and don't make it too tight in case you have to make some minor adjustments later to line it up with the other motherboard standoffs.
Yep, pretty much.
Next came the front panel connectors. In this case, they were a nightmare. There were just so many of them.
We took a long while untangling some spaghetti and figuring out what wire is what.
Make sure you consult your case manual to figure out what is what, and your motherboard manual to find out where things go.
When plugging in the front panel connector pins, be careful as they can get bent quite easily.
Next came the hard drives. We were stupid and installed the graphics card first, and the SATA ports were right behind it. Do make sure that you do know which way your SATA ports face so that you can plug them in easier. I know we skipped how to install the graphics card, but we do have a graphics card installation video, and also, just for the hell of it, I installed more RAM. Now it's finally time to boot it up.
What is this great task for which I, deep thought, have been called into existence?
gonna assume the AC thing is meant for like air control or something, and then you plug it into the motherboard.
This is
AC.
No, that's sound.
How you cable manage? You put it right through here.
Yep. Just wrap it around.
Yeah.
Wrap it around the case. Okay. Doing some front panel connectors. Your speaker, your buzzer. Ooh. Disco computer. Fan control speed button. Okay, I'm turning it off for now. Power speed button up.